got my monthly shipment from Vinyl Me Please, but this month we have some exclusives as well. I am extremely excited for this month's batch and for this video. I went with the classic record of the month and the rock record of the month for March of 2024. I am very, very excited for both of these records, but we also have 3 additional exclusives that came in from Vinyl Me Please. Well, 2 of them are exclusives, and one of them is now technically an essentials record of the month for a total of 5 records this month. And I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, but you tell me in the comments below if I am, but I think that we have the first reissue from CTI Records on Vinyl Me Please, and we'll get to that later on in the video, so I am extremely, extremely excited for that. Before we get into all this vinyl, know this: I am not sponsored by Vinyl Me Please to make these videos. I've worked with them in the past, and if I ever work with them again in the future, I will be sure to note that on any video that we work together on. However, if you want to sign up for Vinyl Me Please, either for a 3-month, 6-month, or 1-year subscription, please use the links in the description below and you will save as much as $80 for a subscription on a year. And I get a match on that for whatever you save, so you get more vinyl and I get more vinyl. Plus, I'm gonna do an on-screen shout out to all the people who did sign up using codes last month. If you sign up, I will try and get your name on screen like we have it here as a thank you for all the people that signed up. So all these people signed up last month, which is amazing. And I cannot thank all of you enough for doing this, but you will be very happy with your choice for Vinyl Me Please, this service, and the music that you will get for it. So use the links below to get a discount and get a shout out on this channel if you do use that discount. Now, let's start with the rock record of the month. For the rock record of March of 2024, we have Heart, Little Queen, originally released in 1977, and the second album the band released that year. It's amazing to me that artists and bands would release multiple albums in a year and they would all be good. This VMP pressing was done by Barry Grint at Air Mastering. The vinyl is 180 gram, and this is done on this really nice half and half translucent red and white. And I think they did a really, really great job with this. Sometimes when they do a split like this, the vinyl colors can kind of smear into each other, but on mine it was actually very good cut. The jacket is a beautiful gatefold jacket and is in a very nice matte finish. Now, I saw some reviews on Discogs complaining about the red tint on the cover and that the photo looks really bad. I don't have an OG to compare this to, so I have no idea. It doesn't look any more saturated than a lot of 70s photos I've seen in the past, so I don't know. But people tend to complain a lot when it comes to vinyl, so shocking. We have the booklet that comes with every record of the month. This one is written by Amelia Sutliff. These are all really good, and this one's an all-around story of the band. And if you're not familiar with Heart like myself, then these are awesome ways to give you some context around the group and the music that you're listening to, and I really encourage people to read these. They are very good. This also comes with a new rock obi. If you saw last month, Vinyl Me Please has now moved all the text information to the obi, which I am a nerd with this kind of stuff for both design reasons, but also because I like collecting these things, and I think it looks really good with putting all this information on the obi instead of having a separate sticker. The sound of this record is really nice, but I think there is a lot of artificial bass going on here. It's very boomy on my system, but I've never heard an older copy of this, so I don't know if it's better or worse. I have other masters from Air at Barry Grint, and they all kind of have this really boomy bass sound. It's not bad, and it definitely sounds good on this record. I mean, so don't get me wrong, the production of this record is pretty good to me as well, so I would bet that most copies of this record sound really good. I know that there is a AAA Kevin Gray cut from 2010, so I'm pretty sure that that sounds amazing, but it's also kind of expensive. This pressing is great. The vinyl itself is quiet and it's flat, and I don't hear any issues with the split tone color, which sometimes can be a complaint for split tones. Overall, I'm very happy with this. This is my only Heart record, and I've never listened to this album before, so I'll give you a little rundown of that from my perspective. Again, this originally came out in 1977, and Barracuda is the most popular song on this record, so I've heard that a bunch of times. But this is the third album from Heart, and it rocks, man, like really hard. This is one of the coolest records that I now own. There is a lot of mandolin or strings, and the drums and guitar sound are just badass, and their vocals just soar on this record. And there's a lot of really cool songs too, where you get a lot of awesome female vocal harmonies and stuff like that. I mean, just from the sisters here, I mean, they just sound great. So this is a really good record to own. Along with the Fleetwood Mac and the Thin Lizzy that Vinyl Me Please put out there, these are ones that I definitely, I'm just being honest here, I would never have picked this up unless I got this for free or something like that. But if I was in a record store somewhere and I'm looking at a bunch of jazz or funk or soul records or reggae records, I'm probably gonna pass this over. But that's what I love about being part of Vinyl Me Please. It's like having this friend that's like, dude, Heart, Little Queen, this is a badass record, you should check it out. And once again, I agree. So get this if you're a fan of rock music, and if you don't have it already, I mean, if you do have it already, you're probably fine with your copy. Why do we need multiple copies of the same record and all? But I've never had this before, so this is an awesome one to have. It looks great, it sounds great, plus you get a bunch of great extras. Definitely check this out. Now, moving on to the classics record of the month, I was extremely excited for this classic record, Nina Simone, Silk and Soul, originally released in 1967, and just like Heart, who released 2 albums in 1 year, this was actually the 3rd album that Nina Simone released in 1967, and we'll get to one of the others later on. And this is just insane that these women worked as hard as they did, so shout out to the ladies here. I'm pretty sure March is National Women's Month or something like that in the United States, so there you go. This is presented here in a stunning tip-on jacket that's very premium and glossy, along with the Obi, which lists this as a AAA cut from Ryan Smith at Sterling Sound, with a beautiful 180 gram reproduction of the vinyl and the label, which is the original RCA label with the dog on it, which is great. The booklet is written by Ashanta Jackson, another great read about this album and Nina Simone, and another great pressing cut here. The sound here is awesome. There are strings and even some very quiet spoken parts, and it's all silent on this record. One of the songs on this record actually was nominated for the Grammy for Best Female R&B Vocalist in 1968, which was actually the first year of that category, and she lost to Aretha Franklin, of all people, but also nominated in that year were Etta James, Carla Thomas, and Gladys Knight, which is just amazing. So it's great company to be in. I really love 60s drums and percussion, both the sound and the beats. You can find some like really awesome hidden beats on some of these records, and this record has a few of them. The first track, It Bees That Way Sometimes, is really awesome. And on side 2, Some Say, is a sick little funk treasure hidden almost all the way on the end of the record. And this record has a little bit of jazz as well as some soul, so this is a great record to have in your collection. I've never heard it before, so this is great. I've already listened to it a couple times now. I got this because I do know of Nina Simone, mainly from one of the records we're going to get to later in the video. But if you're not aware, Vinyl Me Please has sales often, and sometimes for as much as 40% off, and you get first crack at these if you're a member. So again, links below to get as much as $80 off for a year's subscription. So I took advantage of these and I got 3 more Nina Simone records, so let's go check those out. The first one here is Nina Simone Sings the Blues, which is actually a past Essentials record of the month, or is actually one of the original 60 record of the months that Vinyl Me Please started to put out before they actually did tracks. So it's now reissued here as an official Essential record of the month with the new Obi strip. And it states that it's mastered from the original master tapes by Ryan Smith. It includes the original artwork from when they put this out in 2016. This comes with a really awesome watercolor of Nina Simone done by Milana Bass. And then the vinyl is a beautiful baby blue that matches the font on the jacket. This jacket is also another stunning reproduction. This feels like a tone poet. It's glossy and has really awesome photos. There's also a great photo / liner note booklet, The Voice of a People by Samalisha Tillet. Again, so many great extras with great vinyl. I really love these custom prints that they put with some of these Essential records of the month. I'm gonna start putting these in some those like album frame like display things that you see sometimes, because I never actually get to see these, so I think I'm gonna start hanging them on my wall. This pressing is, again, flawless. So we're 3 for 3 from Vinyl Me Please on this batch for this month, with very quiet vinyl, and the music is awesome. And such a different record from Silk and Soul that came out in the same year, which is just crazy, because this is much more of a blues-oriented record. Obviously, it's Nina Simone sings the blues, but it sounds great with some really awesome funky rhythm and blues as well on this. There's a great rhythm and blues version of House of the Rising Sun that just screams New Orleans from it, that just is just awesome. This is also a very great recording and production, so it's a great one to have in this format, and I'm really happy to have this from Vinyl Me Please. Now, I really hope that they do Priestess of Soul, which is the third record that she did in 1967, so we can have all three of them from Nina Simone in that year. However, they did do 2 other exclusives in 2024, and one of them is actually the follow-up to this from 1968. Now, this is a Vinyl Me Please exclusive for 2024, Nuff Said from Nina Simone, limited to 2,000 copies on this awesome 180 gram brown marble vinyl. This is again AAA cut by Ryan Smith at Sterling Sound, has a beautiful tip-on jacket, and this one is number 750 out of 2,000. Now, most of this is a live album except for tracks 1, 8, and 11. And the live album was recorded just days after the assassination of Martin Luther King at the Westbury Music Fair in 1968, and the concert was actually dedicated to Dr. King. The first track, In the Morning, actually has added applause and the intro from the music fair, but it was actually recorded in the studio. This record is a really good live album, even though I'm not that big of a fan of a lot of live albums on vinyl. There are some great ones out there, but I'm not that big of a fan of them. This is a great one to have. I mean, you can really hear how moved she was in this moment, and you can really feel the audience in this. You can tell that she's just, you can really get the visual of her just sitting at the piano with the audience. Sometimes she's just speaking to them, and she's just been through a lot, you know, right from what happened in the previous 3 days. And so it really comes across in this record. There's a lot of really touching moments on this record, so this is a great one to have. This is 4 out of 5 from the pressing and the condition of the vinyl, getting it to me from Vinyl Me Please in this batch. So let's get to the last exclusive. Now, like I said in the beginning of the video, if I'm not mistaken, I think this is the first CTI record from Vinyl Me Please. And now, if you're listening, Vinyl Me Please, please do more CTI records, specifically the CTI 6000 series, or maybe do a VMP anthology box set. That would be awesome. These CTI records were like the tone poets of their time, with like beautiful gatefolds and laminate covers and awesome photos. And Vinyl Me Please did an amazing job with the reproduction of this one, which is Baltimore from 1978. Now, this is apparently an album that Nina Simone was not a fan of making. Apparently, she had some issues with Creed Taylor and the direction that he wanted to take this record. And according to her, she had no say on the choice of songs, but according to him, that was not the case. So it was a whole thing. They wanted to take some of these in a reggae style, and she really didn't like that. And I can say this, if you've never heard of CTI before, and this was like your first intro into the label, this is not what most of the label sounds like. Go back to the 6000 series, or the stuff that came out in the early 70s, or even the stuff that came out on the A&M CTI stuff from the very late 60s. This is not recorded by Rudy Van Gelder, which a lot of the CTI stuff is recorded by Van Gelder, but this is a good one to have. And again, VMP knocked it out of the park with the production of the cover here, just like the original CTI version. In fact, some of the later CTI ones kind of got cheaper and didn't start making the laminate covers, so this might actually be an upgrade in that regard. But this is on a red marble vinyl, also AAA cut from Ryan Smith at Sterling Sound. 5 out of 5 from Vinyl Me Please on the records from this month. All the records were flawless, no pops, no warps, all great, and I would definitely say so otherwise, because I'd be calling to get new ones sent, and I hate waiting for vinyl. So you would definitely hear it from me if there were problems, so thank you to them for getting these to me safely. There are a lot of great musicians on this record as well. well, including guitarist Eric Gale and bassist Gary King, who is extremely funky and has just such a great bass sound. He's appeared on a lot of other CTI records with Bob James and Idris Muhammad, and this has string arrangements also from David Matthews, not to be confused with Dave Matthews of the Dave Matthews Band, but David Matthews did a lot of string arrangements for later CTI stuff, and it's really good. There are some cool tracks on this, even though she might not have been feeling it. It just goes to show you how great of an artist she was, that her standards were just this high. This would probably be a great record for a lot of other people. But the late 70s were not great for a lot of artists out there, especially soul artists, especially getting into the 80s there. So I understand that. And also, CTI pretty much goes out of business very quickly after this in like 1979-ish, or I think they may have released one or two records in the early 80s, but they do quickly go out of business, and they do kind of start introducing the world to smooth jazz, so that also might be another reason why people don't really like a lot of CTI records. But I can say that the stuff from them is not smooth jazz. Maybe the stuff that comes after it is smooth jazz, but this stuff is definitely not. I think this record sounds pretty awesome, and it's got a lot of great production. I can say this is the very first Nina Simone record that I ever heard, because I was hunting down a lot of CTI records to listen to like the entire label when I really started getting into it. So if she never recorded with Creed Taylor, I probably would have never have heard of her. So thank you to her for deciding to at least release this record, even though she wasn't that happy with it. I'm happy that she put it out. This was an amazing batch for March of 2024 from Vinyl Me Please, and I hope you guys are enjoying these updates each month. I'm very excited that I have absolutely no idea what I'm going to be getting for April of 2024 as of yet. As of the publishing of this video, they have released some Q2 hints of the years of each track that they're going to put out, so you can pause this video right here and ponder to see what's going to be coming next for all of the next quarter of 2024. Like I said before, I am eternally grateful to anyone who uses the links below, and I highly encourage you to use them if you're interested in signing up for Vinyl Me Please. You will get a discount to sign up for the service, and I get a match on that discount, and we both get great records. Plus, I will mention you in the next video if you do sign up using those codes. So that's cool, and it makes a fun little community thing that we got going here. If you like this video, definitely go check out some of the others on the channel, especially if you like vinyl or vinyl equipment like these ones here. I'm gonna go listen to some Heart and rock out. I will see you on the next one.